Welcome to the Captain Trucker live stream. This will be our second. So good morning to anybody in the United States and the Philippines. Although I think I created a new link, so there were some people waiting. I'm not sure if they're here right now. What would be more funny is if nobody showed up. I don't know. Who's out there? Hello, good morning. Everything is beautiful. Welcome. Welcome to the live chat, the live stream. Glad to have you. Who else is out there? We got anybody out there? How do we do these things at nighttime? Everything is beautiful. Are you in the United States or are you over in the Philippines? Where are you at? We got 3 people. Welcome. No, 4 people. Oh my goodness. What are we going to do? There's too many people here. I can't reply to all these messages. Please slow down. Welcome to the Philippines. Can anybody hear the roosters in the background? It's a real thing. It's not a joke. Oh, you're in the UK. All right, cool. So would that be England or Ireland or Scotland? I always wanted to go to the UK. I flew over Ireland once on my way to Italy. I ran a race there. Keep on trucking. Stephen, what's up, man? Good to have you. Everything's far away. His wife is in Tugum City, Liverpool. Okay. So there's like multiple British accents for anybody who doesn't know, which I wasn't aware. There's variations in American accents as well, but England in particular has very distinctive regional accents. Rattel, welcome. Why won't you write any messages? He says, okay, I won't write any messages. Why do you say that? I like your messages. Liverpool. Anna, good morning. You guys got to check out Anna's channel. She's an upcoming YouTube star, I promise. It's happening, folks. I'm trying to figure out if I have to leave the Philippines temporarily because Captain Trucker didn't renew his medical card on my commercial driver's license. Everything is beautiful. So are you coming out to, are you working right now and you're coming back to the Philippines? What's the story on that, man? Rattel, what's on your mind? You always have something interesting to say. You guys got to give me a subject to talk about, or I'm just going to start rambling random things. I can do that too. I'm actually pretty good at that. Pardon the roosters in the background. They tend to be noisy. Oh, you got to work and save up for your next visit. What do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking? I'm always curious what people are doing for work out there. Oh my goodness, we have 7 people in here. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. One day this will be up to 100, okay? We're setting the seeds for humanity, ladies and gentlemen. Exponential growth. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. One day we'll be a big snowball together and change the world. I hope. Or am I just being too ambitious? I'm not sure. Rattel says I can ramble if I want. Okay. Well, I can do that. Does anybody watch, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I caught randomly O.J. Simpson on Twitter, which I don't watch Twitter, but for all you who aren't familiar with O.J. Simpson, he lived somewhat of a controversial life. I guess something had happened in 1995 between him and his wife, apparently, and it didn't go down so well. And well, anyway, years later, O.J. Simpson went to prison for trying to recover his memorabilia in Las Vegas. And so anyway, he gets out of jail in like 8 years, right? And so now he's on Twitter, like doing these like public service announcements, and he's actually got like a really big following. And he starts every morning and he goes, "Hey, good morning, everybody. It's yours truly." And, and he was talking about the coronavirus. And he says, "Well, you know, people these days, they don't really know what to believe anymore. And nobody trusts the news. You know, it's all real news or fake news and all this disarray." And he says, "Believe me, I know the media is not always your friend. You know what I'm saying? But just in case, folks, put your mask on." Yeah, OJ Simpson on Twitter. It's a true story. He's really doing that. Everything is beautiful as a hospitality manager. Right on. Well, that's good. We've got 11 people in the chat room, in the live stream, rather. Welcome. For anybody who hasn't hit the like button, please do it. You don't have to. I don't know why I said that. Maybe I'll hit it. Can I like my own videos? Oh, yeah, I just did. So what's going on in the Philippines, man? We should do a video on like the different categories of expats. You know, there's all sorts of different expats, right? You have humanitarians, you have missionaries, you have certain types of other tourists, you have retirees, you have men that worked their whole lives and went through the Alex Jones was right. Dustin, what's going on, man? You know, Dustin and I work at the same company, actually. Dustin, are you still with GP, if you don't mind me asking? I was just curious. What was Alex Jones right about? I didn't know he was right about. Oh yeah, Alex Jones. You know, I don't know much about Alex Jones. I watched some of his stuff. I watched his court case when he was, well, parts of it. That was kind of interesting. I guess he was big on like everything's fake, everything's fabricated. You can't trust the media, on and on. Everything's a conspiracy. Don't leave your house. Everything's an illusion. Everything you see on the news is an illusion. It's all been designed to like change the minds for like political agendas and the kings and queens and the Illuminati. He's interesting. He's an interesting guy. There could be some like validity, maybe, and fractions of those statements, I guess. But he really ran his mouth hard, I guess, and then he ended up in I don't know. He owes a lot of people a lot of money. I know that. So Rattel says he works as an architect's office in Oakland, California. I used to live down in Hayward, actually, Rattel. I'm familiar with that area quite a bit, actually. I like the East Bay. Steven's asking, what's usually your breakfast there? Filipino breakfast? I mean, I'm kind of keeping it simple these days, like keeping it simple with like, you know, eggs and toast and bacon and eggs and coffee and vitamins for breakfast. You know, pretty simple stuff, nothing too exciting. Dustin says, what's up, bro? I'm not at the company anymore. They lied so much about Alex, bro. They lied about, you're referring to Alex, the trucking guy, Dustin? They lied so much about Alex. Hey, Dustin, can you elaborate on that? I'm curious what you mean. I'd like to know what that means. Jet D says, Hayward, I'm from Union City, next door to Hayward. Welcome. Yeah, I know Hayward, and I know Union City, too. I used to play at a rock and roll studio down there in San Lorenzo and Hayward. A good friend of mine, this guy named Keith, actually, he's a really good guy. Been really good friends, actually, for 16 years now. He runs these studios down there. Get a lot of like heavy metal guys and a lot of angry young white rock and roller type of guys, but it's a pretty cool place. There's been a lot of musicians in and out of that his studios for a long time, actually. He's done good for himself. Anyway, I used to have my RV there many years ago. Well, it was really expensive living in the Bay Area, man. So I lived in an RV, like it's like I played drums, and I had my girlfriend, and like we were going to school at the time, living in the RV. It was like kind of like this sort of rock and rollish, I guess, lifestyle in a way. We had a lot of fun, man. I used to run marathons. Well, I shouldn't say that. I ran 3. They were expensive to register for, marathons, boy. But man, I ran a lot. Girl in Texas says she's from Houston. You know, I've been there. What do you know about Houston, girl in Texas? Are you in the Houston area or like the surrounding area? Tell me. Houston's a big place. Oh, goodness. Oh, you're saying Alex Jones, they lied so much about him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about Alex Jones, like I said. I mean, he's an interesting character. You got to admire anybody who just puts themselves out there and stands by what they believe, even if they seem to be going against the grain, and even if it offends, like horribly offends populations of people. I can't get into that whole trial he did. I don't want to talk about that, but there's some things you probably just want to leave alone in life. Sometimes not everybody is maybe equipped for being famous. And in these days of social media, you know, you get 10,000, 100,000 views on a video, and suddenly you're like, well, I must be important. And then there's the crowd effect too, right? Like once a video reaches a certain amount of views, it's like, oh, I'm going to leave a comment too. They must be smart. I'm going to watch it too. It's like the crowd effect, you know? I mean, you can get good quality material for like 2,000 views or 200,000 views. That's my opinion. I still haven't reached that many. Who knows what I'll say? But some of my videos got like 15, 16,000. That's good enough for me. There's a lot of hours, man. Oh, goodness. Antonio, welcome to the live stream. This is the second International Captain Trucker live stream. We're here to inspire people and hopefully change the future of humanity, starting with breadsticks and comments and self-reflection. We're big about self-accountability here because we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a true story. Antonio says, I'm here stuck in Hollywood, Los Angeles. We'll retire soon and go back to the Philippines. Well, everything's temporary, Antonio, so I wish you well, man. I hope you do that. You know, sometimes in life we have to make sacrifices. Sometimes we just have to get rid of everything and go live in a car. I slept in my car for about a year before I became a truck driver. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. I don't know. Well, you have to do that, man. You got to save money, all right? It's not easy. It's not easy being stuck either. I mean, people get in bad marriages. People have to pay for houses and cars, and they have kids. I mean, what are you going to do, right? You can't just like say, oh, I'm done. I'm going to go to the Philippines. Sayonara, adios, have a good day. Catch you on the flip side, right? It's not so easy just to get up and walk away. So I wish you well, Antonio. I really do. I'm getting kind of excited. If I'm talking too loud, let me know. I can lower my voice. Anyway, you guys have, I'm looking forward to your comments. So we got 14 people here. Oh my goodness, we're almost at 100 people. We're only 86 more people to go to reach our goal. Jet D says, so now that you live here in the Philippines, what is your normal breakfast? Don't tell me you're still eating pancakes and bacon. Lol. Better break with that lasagna and eggs and dried fish. I mean, yeah, man, I'll eat anything mostly except durian. For those of you who don't know, durian is a particular type of fruit that exists here in Southeast Asia, I believe, like Vietnam. I think it's in the Philippines too. And guys, I've eaten almost anything in this world except durian and pig feet. I can't stand. It's got this horrendous smell that I swear, like you have to be born and bred in a certain part of the world to enjoy it, I think. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. That sounds ignorant, but I just know like some people can't tolerate durian. I'm one of them. And I thought I could, but I can't. So you all give me something to talk about. I don't want to just do these random ramblings, although we've been at it for 15 minutes, so that's good. Dustin, tell me more about Alex Jones. I'm curious. And I'm curious how long you're with GP and where you're at now, man. Timothy says, good evening. What's the plan on renewing your CDL medical card? Yeah, good question. Hope all is well. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and girl in Texas is asking, what's up with Guam? Yeah, Dude, I'm up in the air right now as we speak, okay? So I got people, they're sending me this stuff they got from AI, from like programs like Chat GPT, and they're supposedly DOT certified medical doctors here in the Philippines. But I don't think you can do that as far as like, I think it has to be like in the United States or in a United States territory like Guam. So I'm pretty sure I cannot do it here in the Philippines. So yeah, I'm looking at Guam. We're coming up on December, okay? So the flights are like retardedly expensive. Sorry for saying retardedly. That's not politically correct. That's not appropriate. I don't know why I said that. I could be self-deprecatingly referring to myself in the third person because I'm really smart. Anyway, yeah, the flights are really expensive to Guam too, man. I was like, oh yeah, Guam, we're gonna save money. And then I go on, and it's like still $700 round trip to Guam, or I can go to Los Angeles and fly to Houston, which would probably cost me about $1,100. But I can, I have a really kind sister there who lets me sort of hang out and freeload off her house over the years to save money. No, I'm just kidding. She's a good sister. We've had a good time. I'm like Uncle Jesse at Full House. I got 3 nieces, and I sort of show up randomly over the years. Trying to give more back to my family these years, though. When I was younger, I tended to be a bit more introverted in some ways. But yeah, I got to do it. I'm going to have to go to Guam or go to Texas. I really, it's almost going to be the same money if I go to Texas. But I'm like, well, maybe we can do like another international trip, go to Guam. Never been to Guam, right? Maybe some of the people want to see Guam. Got to figure out what's going on there. Ratel likes Darien better than Nido. Natto. I don't know what natto even is. Oh, natto is a Japanese fermented beans, very slimy and a real acquired taste. Yeah, I believe it. So I believe it. Thank you all for watching, by the way. We have 15 people here. We're breaking world records. This is unbelievable. And please slow down in the comments. I'm just joking. Who else is out there that hasn't commented? Girl in Texas, are you tech savvy? Are you able to tell me how I can see who's in my chat room? I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. So how do these live streams work? Is this where you're supposed to start e-begging, as they call it? When I first started the channel, everybody was like, oh, soon he's going to be e-begging. And I'm like, man, why can't you ever do anything good in life? It's always going to be some agenda, right? Why can't you just do something for fun or for a hobby or as a pastime? But then I get it. I mean, it's like you get these guys spending their whole day, I guess, on YouTube and stuff. And, people kind of get a bit too personal for me. They get a bit too intimate. But that's okay. That's cool, too. I mean, I'm trying to figure out these member perks, too, by the way. How do the member perks work? Is that like, oh, you get to see Captain Trucker's sock drawer? No, I'm just kidding. See, I started talking about that, and we just lost 2 people in the chat. Did you see that? Unbelievable. Very skeptical, but it's understandable what's going on in the world, man. I mean, yeah, anyway. Girl in Texas says, I don't think so unless you can see the live studio. So, yeah, what's going on in the Philippines? I guess there's a lot of stuff going on. I want to go back to El Nido, man. And I want to check out Bohol. Haven't been there. And even Lacawan Island here in Negros Occidental. Very beautiful place. It's like north. And I've also been to Bentayan in Cebu, which is another highly underrated island. If anybody has not been there, I would recommend checking out Bentayan. It's very good. So Ratel's asking me, what's your schedule for the trip back? Do you have to go to the Midwest? No, I just have to go really anywhere. I mean, anywhere to get a DOT medical card. It can be in any state, any city, any U.S. territory, I think. So yeah, I'm trying to figure that out if Guam's a good option. We don't know yet. I'm gonna have to call them actually. I'm gonna call their clinic. Antonia's been to Bintayan. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it is. Jet D is asking, Captain, what's your plan for your vlog going forward? Will you be exploring the islands in a motorbike, showing us sights, food, and culture? Warren Bahol and Cebu, come by, bro. Yeah, maybe I will. Yeah. What's my plan for the vlog? Yeah, I mean, I do want to explore more places in the Philippines. Uh, Sometimes I have to spend more time in certain regions to be with people, but yes, yeah, I'm gonna get on the motorbike soon. Actually, think about buying a motorcycle as well. It's much easier than borrowing people's. Yeah, good times, very good times. Well, we got 11 people in the chat room. If anybody has any questions, any subjects we'd like to talk about, go ahead and let me know. And maybe we'll wrap it up soon, depending on what people want to talk about. Let me know. I need some water. Good old water. Mm. Oh, that's funny. Let's see here. See, I stopped talking. Now there's 15 people here. Maybe I should talk less. Maybe that's the trick. Timothy TJ says, any doctor that has a U.S. national registry number can sign the medical form. I had my medical card renewed at Adventist Hospital in Okinawa, Japan. Wow. Okay. So is that what it is, Timothy? You just need that. You just need that national registry number. Did you have to get it notarized? Because that's what I was wondering. So the key is like we got to find a doctor somewhere in the Philippines with that U.S. national registry number. Yeah, that's what we got to do. If anybody knows, that would be very helpful. I got a lot of different chores I have to do. Philip John, welcome. Good to see you, man. He says he's watching here from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Cold Allentown. I've been to Allentown, Philip, several times. Not extensively. I didn't go there and like join the church and get married, but I did a lot of truck driving. I would oftentimes pass through. So Timothy, you didn't have to get it notarized. You just got a U.S. registered doctor. That's interesting, man. That's good news. That's really good news. We got to figure this out. Hey, seriously, if anybody can find me a Philippines doctor with a U.S. registered number and can set up an appointment, I'll pay you a commission. Okay, I'm serious. I really need to get this done. If anybody knows, Alex Burnham, digging the content, keep flowing. Thanks for the message. Oh, Alex, I think are you the Alex I think you know? The guy I met in Playa del Carmen? Is that you? We had some good times there that summer, man. That was a great summer. I enjoyed that. That was during COVID. And I was really like, I wasn't able to go back to the Philippines, and I sort of like was staying in Playa del Carmen for like 2 months. This is during the whole like COVID crisis. And I was enjoying the beach, but it was kind of down, because I was separated from people I cared about, and I couldn't get back to the Philippines. And yeah, I met this interesting, crazy young British guy on the beach named Alex. It was a really nice guy. And I don't know if that's you. I can't remember your last name. But he was a funny dude, and he was a smart guy, and he was funny, But I think he was a contractor. He used to be a pilot too. Yeah. So he was like a pilot, and he was also like building like a house somewhere, I think in North Carolina. But yeah, real funny dude. Oh, Alex from Chicago. Yeah, yeah. Different Alex. Okay, so I was just in Chicago, and I met this guy named Alex at a hostel. That was cool. Yes. Welcome. Thanks for joining, man. I appreciate that. Different Alex. Two Alexes. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't remember the last name, Alex. My bad. Yeah, I met Alex in Chicago. He went to a concert there, and the theme of that night was obscure. So that was a funny thing. Good times. Oh, we got 14 people here, 12 now. What do we got left? Yeah, you know what? I think I'll do a community post about the U.S. doctor, Timothy. If we can find a U.S. doctor in with a U.S. registry number somewhere here in the Philippines, and we can try to arrange that. That's what we got to do. Have you tried calling St. Luke's Hospital? That's what the U.S. Embassy is using. Yeah, that's on my list too, Antonio. I got to call them. People have been telling me to call them. That's what I got to do. In fact, I should be doing that soon today. I got to get a. I don't even have a Philippines phone right now. I got to get a phone. I got to borrow someone's phone. I'm thinking the U.S. Consulate General in the Philippines can give you a list of doctors. Yeah, you would think so. You would hope so, right? They're hard to get in touch. Well, maybe they're not hard to get in touch with. So it is said, so it shall be done. Yeah. Good times. Well, yeah, where's the channel going? I mean, I'm hoping our next goal is like 5,000 subscribers and then 10,000 and, carry it on. I think a lot of vloggers we're kind of, see, I talk a lot. I do a lot of like strong opinions. I talk about social stuff, psychological stuff. And I think the essence of YouTube is more for like entertainment, probably, I would imagine. I think a lot of times people come to YouTube for like entertainment, right? Maybe. Or maybe like also like how-to stuff. So I have noticed like a lot of like some big vloggers, they just sort of walk around like with the GoPro, and they go different places and their editing's good and so forth, and they don't necessarily offer like really heavy commentaries. But I guess there's been a lot of stuff on my mind for a long time that I'm trying to offer humanity for the people interested. If you do notice on this channel, there's a lot of really interesting comments. A lot of the subscribers like are actually pretty smart people and offer really insightful things. And if you read my comments, they're not just like, oh, haha, that was funny, lol, or oh, next time don't spill the coffee, or oh, that was a funny face you made. Like they're actually writing like intelligent. Don't get me wrong, I like those comments too. I do. I like any comments. But yeah, a lot of the subscribers and the comments on this channel are really good. So I'm happy to see that. I've always said our goal was not to just waste airtime, not to create more distractions in this world for humanity. A lot of people spend a lot of time on social media these days, and there's many distractions in this world. So I do feel we have a moral and ethical obligation as content creators and as human beings to make the most valuable content as possible. I mean that sincerely. And there's always a question of quality over quantity, I guess, in terms of numbers. And I'm not just saying that because I only have 2,500 subscribers. But I mean, seriously though, it's like you wonder how much is exponential, right? So I wonder if you just reach certain levels and it snowballs, or maybe not. Because then again, maybe you just stay small, and maybe some people just don't care, or maybe some people just don't like your face, or they don't want to hear opinions on things, and that's understandable too. Because like I said, maybe YouTube's a lot of it's for entertainment. So I guess we try to find a balance somewhere, right? Because like reality TV was an interesting thing, and there's so much stuff that's publicly exposed these days about people's just intimate things, like it's not the days where like we're putting a picture on the desk at work of our, the wife and kids. It's almost like now they're putting the picture, for potentially hundreds of thousands of strangers to see who they don't know. You'll know your group of coworkers, right? But you really don't know who's like looking at, your bed where you sleep, and what type of socks you put on, and watching you brush your teeth in the morning, like just weird stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really into that. Is that that would be the membership perks, right? Come see Captain Trucker's sock drawer. That's what I mean. Like, I don't really want to do that. I want to give you all my best. Show you all my socks. Oh my goodness gracious. I thought that was funny. Anyway, anybody have anything to say out there? Antonio says to increase your subscribers, you have to collaborate with famous vloggers there in the Philippines. I don't know. Is that true? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if collaboration or some maybe try to sponge off other people's channels is necessarily. I guess it could work. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, for exposure, sure. But then again, do you necessarily want that much exposure? I mean, I was saying this before too. Like, do I really want 100,000 subscribers or 50,000? I mean, how are we going to have this kind of in-depth communication with each person? You know what I mean? It's like I try to take a lot of time I spend a lot of time responding to comments because I try my best to read them. And if I don't respond right away, it's usually because I'm thinking about what to reply with. I'm trying not to just reply with canned responses and that sort of thing. And it's kind of interesting because I do spend a lot of time just on comments at this level of the channel. And like I said before, when you go into YouTube with the whole incentive, just with the intent to, make money or make it your living, some of the intentions and some of the reasons and material might be influenced by that. So you may not be necessarily saying what you want to say or doing what you want to do, or maybe speaking on things maybe some people don't want to hear, but you feel it's necessary to say. So, I mean, we'll talk about the Philippines, for instance. I mean, we all know that, like the majority of, well, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard people say this, that, most men that come to the Philippines, it's usually for, to find a wife or a girlfriend. It's related to a woman usually, right? So, and with the reputation of the Philippines and Southeast Asia from some of that other type of tourism, party tourism and stuff like that, I don't really want to necessarily cater to that. I mean, I'm good with like talking to support, men who want to like meet a wife. And if you're going to come here to marry a Filipina, like I'm a supporter of that. Sure. I mean, that's a good thing to talk about on this channel. And I do talk about that a little bit, but I'm very cautious about the way we're promoting and the way we're talking about the Philippines, okay? Because I think a lot of stuff, and I've said this before, so forgive me if anybody's heard this speech, but public relations has a tendency to repeat itself, and the news tends to perpetuate negative things, and sometimes that's stuff we hear about. So countries have certain reputations, certain places have reputations, and if we continue to sell it that way as people, as whatever, vloggers, the news, the press, whoever, we have to help the public relations. So if we're constantly selling it in a sense of like, come to the Philippines, come party, look at all the sexy Filipinas, click here. I mean, we can theoretically do some of that, but the issue is when there's been a certain reputation, that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily help in some ways. And it's easy just to sit back and say, oh, well, that's the way it's been. You know, who are you? Who you guys think you're going to change that? You're going to change that? You can't change the reputation. You got 2,000 subscribers. What are you, you know, who are you, right? You're not a politician, something like this, a US politician. I don't need to be one. I really believe that with the certain types of people, with a certain amount of people, we can help sort of change some of that image and hopefully attract a better reputation and other types of tourists, and not simply come into the Philippines to save money, right? I mean, we tend to talk about money and a lot, but it's a subject that's a real thing, I suppose. And obviously, for retirees, cost of living it's a legitimate concern, and it's a legitimate issue of how a retiree is going to survive. All right. But I've seen a lot of types of retirees that come here simply to save money, and they end up not being too happy, and they end up complaining because this is not an industrial country. It's a different type of culture. It's not 8 to 5, you know, go, 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 go. Things move slowly here. Quality of materials isn't the same. And, you know, there's stuff that comes with poverty that's very real. Okay. And don't get me wrong, if you have money, the Philippines can be all that great vacation stuff you see, and it can be a fantastic party. You can stay in nice places. But on the flip side of that, there's like legitimate, like serious poverty here, like the slums in Manila, people that can't afford health care. I mean, these are all real things. So, you know. And like I've said, I just think we have a responsibility to hopefully try to draw people here that aren't just simply coming to save money or simply coming because they think Filipinos are pretty. Okay. And I don't necessarily, and I don't want to try to sell it that way, if you will, in promoting this channel as much as possible. I would prefer not to. So, yeah, that's it. But I mean, hey, life's a party. Live it up. Just do what makes you happy. Well, that's relative for different people, right? I mean, for some people, being happy can mean doing selfish things, I guess. And for some people, it can be sitting on top of a hill like a monk saying a prayer, not working, I guess. I shouldn't have said that. I don't mean to say monks don't work. That's a stupid thing to say. I was saying, anyway, the reason I say that is because nothing to do with monks. Forget about what I said about monks. But the men I've known in life, when they reach their 30s who don't work, okay? Men who don't work, especially in Western countries, like in their 30s, by the time they reach their 30s, it starts to become a little bit goofy, you know what I mean? And it starts to become a little bit like they start making these claims like, oh, I don't work because I'm super spiritual, you know, and uh, it just that's my way of contributing to humanity is I'm just a spiritual vessel, and I've somehow just been bringing like good energy to people by not working, and I empty my mind of everything. Nothing exists. And you see that in like some of these gurus, you know, they're like, oh, nothing exists. Just look into my eyes. Nothing exists. It's all just thoughts that we create in our minds. But unfortunately, there's a very real reality going on. There's people, as we speak, suffering. There's people in the streets. There's people in hospitals. There's people in poor health. There's people getting hurt. All right. So while we're physically alive on this earth, Antonio, I'm sorry I missed your comment, man. I apologize. I went off in this speech. Let me read this. Tim Huss, that's the only. I'll get to the comments. Let me finish this speech really quick. But the whole, what do they call him? It's not, I don't know if it's a Swami, but you know, the super spiritual thing. Yeah. Well, Antonio says, I'll be happy just to be a beach bum. I mean, that's cool. That's what I'm saying. Like you can do some of that in life. Like you can do that being the guy on the hill that's just saying prayers and not physically involved with humanity, right? And you can empty your mind and just, I guess, find enlightenment and knowing how much you don't know and reducing the ego and all that. You can, and that's good stuff. And you should do some of that in life. But what I was saying is like some people who never really work in the physical reality they live in, like in societies, I think some of them are just full of BS. Some of them. Because some of these people will just be like usually mooching off somebody they know or a relative, basically surviving off others' hard work, right? And I've always said this too, like you can tell a lot about a man when he gets his first pile of money, if you will. And you can also tell a lot by that man about the way he treats people in poorer countries, okay? Because a lot of people talk a big talk, so to speak, and then they get a little bit of money and suddenly they're the king of the Philippines, right? Or they go to a poor country and they become some, you know, I don't know, some would-be dictator or something, like a would-be dictator tourist guy. But that whole king thing, I was looking into that too. Like, who started this? Come live like a king. The whole king concept is so like grandiose, and people like. All right, hold on. Let me get to some comments really quick. I went on this tear. Bertel, you deleted your message. I'm sorry, man. I didn't. I missed what you said. Um, so did Antonio. Let's see. My apologies. Let me go back to these messages. How do I scroll up? Oh, here we go. Yeah, Alex says being authentic and intimate, as real as a person, is what matters to me. Not matter how many followers you have, just be real and I'll listen. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. Is like I think that's the idea too of like social media. Really, is like this isn't necessarily a performance platform. Like we're not trying to make movies and documentaries on this platform necessarily. It's supposed to be a social thing. So yeah. Alex says, I want to travel to the Philippines to get out of the States, to bicycle and get away from the Western culture. Your word helps me understand more how to travel abroad and be sustainable while on the road. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I was telling you that, I think I told you that when I met you in person. And I think for a man like you, I really think you'd flourish better in other types of countries, man. I think you're too philosophical and probably have enough sense of empathy and humanity around you to be so hardcore capitalistic and industrial, so to speak. So I hope that for you. I hope that you can check out other places. Tim Huss says, haha, that's why only half my pay goes to the Philippines bank and the rest stays in the bank when it comes to money. Yes, Marina is very pretty. Wasn't sure what that was referring to. Girl in Texas, do monks work? I don't know. I think that is their work. So good for them. Harry says, when are you coming back to the Philippines? I mean, I'm still here right now. I haven't left yet. Antonio says he'll be happy to be a beach bum. Yeah, man, I hope, the beach bum thing is cool. That's all a possibility. And you got to work at some point in life. That's what I've been saying to those guys like in their 30s and stuff, who live with their sister or live with their parents and, talk about how corrupt they feel the United States system is, and they've never really been to like hardcore countries. They've never really been around even the United States. And they're sort of, what happens is they get shut in, right? And then some of these guys, they buy into a lot of conspiratorial stuff. And there could be some validity in some of that, but some of them end up almost becoming like mentally ill because of the lack of engagement with society and humanity, and from watching too much, like, I don't know, people like Alex Jones too much. And don't get me wrong, I mean, like that guy, he probably says some interesting things, like, oh yeah, I never looked at it from that way. But you can't just straight necessarily fabricate things that aren't true because you can end up like like in court being like sued and stuff, because you can't just say things that like is fake when in fact they were real, especially on like really serious stuff. It's kind of not cool. Like I said earlier about like some people aren't equipped to be famous. I mean, some people are not equipped or have the responsibility. And we see that a lot in like social media is like, so you just gotta kind of check yourself and watch out for that. Yeah, I appreciate that quote, Grit. Why, you know what, guys? I can, for some reason on my laptop here, I'm not getting the messages and updated real time. I think that's why I'm missing some messages. Maybe. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, Stan. Hey, Stan, welcome. Stan's one of my favorite commenters, actually. Stan writes these like mini essays and books on the channel. So if anybody wants to read a paragraph from a book, read Stan's comments. No, I'm serious. They're good. Like, and I have to take time to reply because I have to think about, what I want to say and not just like a silly response. But Stan's asking me, Captain, do you keep going back to the same area in the Philippines for a certain reason? Any new locations that you're considering in the Philippines? Yeah, I mean, I have, like I said, people I care about, people intimately close to me that I, I don't know how any else way to say that. Certain, yeah, the people I care about are in certain areas. That's a reason I've sort of been in this region, but I certainly plan on traveling more. I will. It's just I gotta take care of some other stuff around here first. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I want to go other places. I've been other places, in many places, not many, some. Been to different parts of Palawan and different parts of Negros. Obviously, Manila. But I want to check out some. I want to go to like Surigao. I think it's Surigao. I'm a big beach guy. I love beaches. I really do. I'm designed for the beach. I thrive at the beach. I like sunshine and water. I do. I really swim. I spend time actually swimming and snorkeling. Really love that stuff. I've never seen like in Nakpon Beach and El Nido, Stan. Excuse me, not Nakpon, but other beaches in El Nido. When you take the tour of the islands up there, I mean, the snorkel in there was like unbelievable. I'm serious. Like the colors are like colors that you've never seen before, or even knew existed in nature. Like so beautiful and so mind blowing. The coral reefs were like, it's like an aquarium, no exaggeration. And the water up there at that part of El Nido is like so clean and just so beautiful and just so exotic. You just got to see it for yourself. I mean, the variation of the colors and the hues, man, is like mind blowing, mind blowing. What's so interesting too is like, you know, each beach's, you know, people compare beaches in the world, right? But I mean, each beach has their own unique kind of beauty, if you will. Like you can't, like I've been to beaches a lot in like Cancun and Playa del Carmen, and they're awesome. They're great, you know, like that in the western side of the Caribbean or whatever. And you ask how it compares to like El Nido in the Philippines. I mean, they're both on the same, they're both like in that rock star exotic category level of beaches, but they're slightly different in terms of the colors. And it's just hard to explain. You just gotta, I guess, see it for yourself. Yeah. All right, we got 27 people in here, so maybe some of my speeches helped. Antonio says, I'm tired of the corporate ladder and BS. So when I said I retire, I'll be a beach bum just for being at peace physically and mentally. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the idea of retirement. I think that's what you're supposed to do too, is like you almost want to deprogram's kind of a heavy word, but you do want to release yourself from sort of all that stuff you went through, I guess, in life. Kind of start thinking about other things. I mean, work puts a lot of stress on people, and work is a real thing. Competition's a real thing. In competition, the nature of it is that there's winners and losers, right? So you almost have to be like, bring out the reptile in you, if you will. It is. It's almost like animalistic, the idea of competition, right? Winners and losers. And you hear that even in sales. It's like, um, you know, go kill it, go be a good, you know. I mean, to be like even successful in like sales, like you really hope you want to have like a good product, right? Because there's part of your brain or part of your that's almost just cut off from like you become so ruthless to get the sale that you can, you know, potentially it can really affect you, like just your whole outlook and your whole day-to-day living, being like some hardcore salesman of like, I don't know, I need a good example. I mean, there's a lot of different sales, but you guys get the idea. Yeah. We got 27 likes and 25 people here. Well, I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that people are watching the live streams. I think, I'm not sure if that's a lot of people for 2,000 subscribers, but we'll hope it works out. Matt, good morning. How are you? Welcome to the second live chat of Captain Trucker, where we are slowly turning the wheels to better humanity and to learn about the Philippines and human nature and to spread good karma around. Does that sound good? Good morning, Matt. Thank you. Do you got any questions? Anybody have any questions for me? We've been at this almost an hour. We can keep going for a little bit. I mean, more people are coming in, so wind me up like a wind-up toy and let's rock and roll. Give me some questions. I'm going to drink some water. Oh, Stan says, You still heading to Manila? Stop by the Manila Hotel. Douglas MacArthur lived in Manila when he was a child before World War II. Tagate is worth visiting. You used to be able to go up the volcano. Yeah, I got to check it out, man. I think, yeah, I'm probably going to have to end up in Manila at some point here because I got to go to Guam or go back to the United States or one of the two. Would you guys be interested in seeing Guam? I really don't know much about Guam. Stan, you seem to know a lot about history. I got to look this stuff up. What's going on in Guam? U.S. Samoa, yeah. Alex says rock and roll. I bought a bass when I got home from Chicago, so next time we'll have to jam. Yeah, man, if we can get a good drum set or a studio up there in Chicago, if you know one, that'd be cool. A lot of cities, I think they still have those rehearsal studios where you can rent them by the hour or something. I know the Bay Area had those. I used to have my own. Studio. You know, I like playing drums. I wasn't as versatile on the drums as I should have been, or I can still be, I guess, if I put the time into it. I was good at what I could play. It's sort of like that saying, there's a lot that you don't know, but you're good at what you know, or something. I don't know if I said that right. I was good at what I could play, but there was a lot I couldn't play, so to speak. Yeah, I was no Neil Peart. What can I say? Used to love Rush, the Canadian progressive rock band Rush. They were like my favorite band. I still listen to them, but there was a point like in 2000, the first decade from 2000 to 2010, man. I was like 2012. I was hardcore Rush fan, man. I saw them 11 times in concert. I was almost in the front row when they were in Reno, Nevada, as a matter of fact. And well, anyway, I don't want to start talking about Rush. Nobody even knows what they're talking about. Anyway, Alex Lifeson was having a bad day. His amp wasn't working. He comes out during Limelight, and I was like, so eventually Alex Lifeson looks at me back and says, almost made me cry. It's a true story. What's ironic is Alex Lifeson is usually the friendly guy in the band. He's like kind of goofy, and he's more talkative. It was usually like Neil Peart that was like kind of the socially reserved one, didn't handle his fame. Well, no, he handled it good, but he was just a shy guy. Same with Getty a little bit. Getty was friendly too. Anyway, so I'm sorry, Alex Lifeson, for that. I always wanted to apologize. I was just blown away. I'd never been that close to a rock star that I admired, and sorry if that tripped you out. So I backed off. I went back to row 15 and enjoyed the rest of the show after experiencing that trauma. But funny thing is 3 days later, I saw Rush in Los Angeles, and I was on Geddy Lee's side this time with my brother, and Geddy Lee actually waved to us and was friendly and smiled, and it was all good. So it sort of balanced out, you know what I mean? One was negative, one was positive. It was a wash. I love Rush, still love them. One of the greatest bands of all time, without a doubt. Proven. Okay. All right, next subject. Nobody probably even knows who Rush is. Do you guys know the band Rush? All right, moving on. Let's talk about the Philippines. Stan says, "What's a good email for you? I'll send you a Washington Post article from November 10th. There was never a band like Rush." Yeah, I want to see it. Getty doesn't want to forget it. I believe it. I still follow them a little bit, Stan. But I was a big fan, like I said years ago. I know most of their albums and everything. Although Clockwork Angels, I didn't watch that one too much. All right, we lost a few people because I started talking about non-Filipino stuff. Hey, girl in Texas, were you a Rush fan? That's a joke. Okay. All right. Hey, good morning, Sky. Sky's Filipino, and I think she lives here in the Philippines. Welcome, Sky. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Half Greek, 1963. One of my favorite commenters says there are there are other bands besides Rush. Yeah, I know. I know Half Greek. I can always count on Half Greek to I don't know, tell me something I did wrong or something. I don't know. Or if I used a phrase out of context. Like I'll be doing a video about some highly emotional stuff and like really deep stuff. Like I was talking about this time that I was reported as a missing person to the US Embassy, which was really more of an inquiry. It wasn't as dramatic as it sounds in terms of all that. But the truth was is that I did break communication with humanity and most of my relatives and friends, all of them in the United States. No contact for like 5 months. I was kind of fed up with a lot of things, just in general. It was during COVID, and I was spending time with my son. I was just wanted to be with my son, and I wasn't too happy with some of the attitudes of a lot of Americans at the time. And yeah, I kind of just shut down for most of the world. And anyway, eventually the embassy called me and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just don't want to talk to anybody. It's all good. Don't worry about me. We're fine." So I do a video about that, and um, I've known like people like Half Greek and Garland, Texas, for decades, and he writes because I had the phrase "off the grid," and he says, "I think being off the grid means that you have no utilities." Just like, what are you doing, man? Matt DeYoung, welcome. Good to hear from you again. He says, "I love that you're such a fan." Yeah, it's true, Matt. I am. That's true. Matt's a nice guy. I got stories about Matt. I'm not going to tell them here publicly, but he's a funny guy. Yeah, I got to visit you guys in Texas. I might have to come back. I might be back there. I know you're going to California on like the 15th, but I got to get back to the United States temporarily or find a doctor here who happens to be a US DOT certified to, give me this med card. Ridiculous. I got to figure this out ASAP because flights are getting expensive. They certainly are. Yeah, Stan, it's just a driver just a driver 2022 at gmail.com. That's correct. Here we go. Jens Benzo says, "I'm a fan of Rush in the 80s, one of my favorites." Yeah, that's awesome, man. Me too. I'm younger, so I didn't discover Rush until 2004. I saw them at the R30 tour in Las Vegas, Nevada with my brother when I was 21, as a matter of fact. And that was the first concert I'd ever been to. And yeah, it was incredible. It was awesome. It was a life changer. I started playing drums after that. I really did. It kind of inspired me to start playing drums. Watching and listening to Neil Peart live like that was pretty amazing. Matt says you'd love to have me over. Yeah, man, I will too. I'll come back and visit. I might have to. I mean, I might spend Christmas there, man. I don't know. Because it's going to be expensive to fly back, and I'm not trying to go back to work until March 2024. Yeah, maybe we can have a party in Texas. We'll see what happens. Tim Moss says he's seen REO Speedwagon and Blackfoot. Yeah, those were big bands. So yeah, back to the Philippines. Actually, I'd be curious if Rush and a lot of these 80s bands were popular in the Philippines. I know the Filipinos, they listen to a lot of the same in the mainstream music. They do a lot of karaoke here. It is funny listening to Filipinos sing, Western rock songs and all that. It's kind of interesting. But the Filipinos have a lot of their own local musical festivals, and they have a lot of what do you call it? What do you call it? Yeah, music festivals with drums, and each region has like their own unique drums. They create their own drums and percussion equipments, and they got a lot of stuff going on with that. You can see I play in one of those briefly, sort of this homemade drum ensemble. You can see it in one of my shorts. I thought it was pretty good. Strangely, it didn't get a lot of views, but honestly, I think it's one of my best shorts. It's called Playing Drums with the Filipinos. If you all want to check it out, you can leave comments on that one. That'd be cool. Misha says, hey, just out of curiosity, I hope you don't mind, is your son Filipino? By the way, happy Thanksgiving from Georgia. Yeah, my son is a dual citizen, and he's a Filipino version of me, if you can imagine that. So he looks like me, except he's Filipino. Yeah. He's great. He's a lot of fun. Real smart kid. Got a sense of humor. And yeah. Good times. Boy, that was hard getting that passport. The embassy makes you go through hoops, man. I feel bad for a lot of Filipinos, man, who want to travel outside of the country or try to go work somewhere. It's really hard. It's hard for them to get visas, and it's hard for them to go to the United States, man. I mean, we always hear about an immigration like in the US. We always hear about, Mexico and South America, immigrants, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's like the Philippines just always gets, left out on the back burner of world relations in general, which is a real shame because we've seen this in history. And it's just too bad because the type of culture they are, like they're not necessarily like the type of people that like to impose. Like they're not assertive in the sense of like, hey, don't come here. We don't want your BS. They're like, hey, welcome, with a smile, literally. I mean, the military, I've said this in other videos, they've done a lot of good things around the world. They've helped out with a lot of humanitarian disasters. Unfortunately, some of those young Navy boys and other people, unbeknownst to them, whether they're aware or not, left behind dozens of thousands reported of kids, of their own kids, that the Filipinos are still taking care of without financial assistance and without their due citizenship. Okay. And the Filipinos still welcome us with open arms, despite some of these unfortunate things in history. So I think we owe a lot to the Filipinos in terms of public relations, at least, what we can do as bloggers and as people to help and hopefully get more philanthropists here and just, I guess better grades and better quality of characters of tourists to kind of help out. And there's a lot of good expats out here, and there's a lot of good military expats out here as well. But it's interesting, and I'm talking about social media and stuff. Like, I do a video of me leaving the workplace, right? Of me sort of walking off a job and coming to the Philippines, which was a true story. I mean, I'm on good terms with that workplace. I'm going to go back there next year. But a video like that gets me 16,000 views. And then I do a video about the Ameri-Asian kids in history and the help that they need and the help that the people who have supported them need. And that video gets 300 views. I mean, so, yeah. But I guess, like I said before, is like a lot of people do come to YouTube for entertainment, and maybe they don't necessarily want to hear stuff like that. Maybe. But then again, I think there's serious channels on YouTube, and I would imagine there's vloggers that talk about serious subjects. and it's not just all fun and games, party. Let's get a waterproof GoPro and go do a backflip off a cliff with Captain Trucker and eat some balut on the way and stuff ourselves with food and see a bunch of pretty Filipinas in bikinis. Those are all fun times. Don't get me wrong, folks, but can't do that every day as responsible people, can we? No, not in terms of public relations. Unfortunately, in terms of the history, we cannot do that. So, but we'll do some of that minus the bikinis, and I'll try to do a backflip. I still can, I think. I haven't done a backflip in a long time. I used to do it on the trampoline. I do have to get a waterproof sort of protector gear for my GoPro, though. I got to get one of those helmets, you know. I want to get on the motorbike on the Philippines with the GoPro, and, you know, that'd be fun. I got to do that. I'm trying to do that. All right. Antonio says rave. Yeah, go to the raves. Alex, thumbs up. Tim Husk. Miss seeing the Who by Three Callers in Cincinnati where they had a crowd rush in 1981. I think it was. Oh, you almost run radio tickets. I think that's what Tim's saying. Tim, are you in the Philippines, man? So 1981, that's about 42 years ago, man. So you're retired here in the Philippines? Stan says they're here to help you, Captain. It's not a problem. Thank you. I don't know what you're referring to, Stan, but that's a nice thing to say. And people have been helpful. If you guys can help me find a doctor, DOT certified doctor in the Philippines, I will pay a commission to that person if they can help me find a doctor here to give me the DOT medical certificate. The doctor just needs a U.S. registry number, I believe. All right. Misha G, I think that's great that you spend time bonding with your son. Yeah, I mean, that's really the idea, right? So it's hard to travel all the time when you have kids for most people. I say kids plural, but whatever. So yeah, hopefully as they grow, it'd be easier to travel with them. But anyway, anybody have any questions? We've been at this about an hour, more than an hour. Stan, I sent you the American Service Center phone number. It didn't show up on the chat. I don't see it. I didn't see any phone numbers, Stan. If you don't mind just emailing it to me, that'd be easier. Much easier. All right. Well, I think we did pretty good. We got about 20 people in the live chat. I don't know if that's a lot, but I appreciate the comments as always. And yeah. Anybody have any questions before we wrap this up? Oh, somebody quoted me saying, you can tell a lot about a man by the way he treats people in a poor country. Yeah, thanks for quoting me. I think that is my quote. I actually made that up. As far as I know, I'll take it. Captain Trucker coined that phrase. Maybe we should put it on a shirt. That'd be a good idea. I like shirts. Okay. We'll take some last minute questions from anybody out there. Anybody have any questions? We're going to wrap it up soon. Yeah, you too, Alex. Take it easy. Girl in Texas says merch. What do you mean merch or March? Are you saying March? Tim's fixing to retire soon. You said fixing, Tim. Are you down there in the southern part of the region of the United States? You're in like Texas, or where are you at? fixing some Southern slang, man. I'm fixing to go get me some grits. I'm just joking. I don't know why I talk like that. I really don't. Not everybody in the South talks that way. In fact, a guy like Matt DeYoung in the chat, I think he lived in Texas his whole life. And there's nothing wrong with a Southern accent. I'm just saying, some people you don't hear distinctive accents, right? So you can't really tell necessarily where they're from, some Americans. But there's variations in like the East Coast and the South and the West Coast. Big difference in like Louisiana versus Texas, for instance. I mean, I've been to some rural parts of Louisiana, truck driving, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and I swear you have no idea what the person's saying to you. It's a funny story really quick. I was at a receiver somewhere in a small town in Louisiana. There was a Chinese American man that ran the warehouse, and he had the thickest Louisiana accent like I've ever heard. And I really didn't understand what he was saying. And he goes, he goes, go right there, down yonder. Back truck up. And open up the doors. Fixing the egg. Oh, and I was like, oh my God. I didn't understand what the man was saying. Yeah, go down. Go down yonder. Take a right. Go on your first left. Oh. Sorry, I don't know. Is there anyone from Louisiana out there? Oh my goodness. Michigan. I've been to Michigan. I've been to Ohio. Best wishes on Guam's. Yeah, thank you, Rattel. We'll see what happens, man. Stan asks, what U.S. out of the way place do you like best in your travels? I like Western South Dakota. I've been to every state except Alaska. I'm still not sure what the difference between North and South Dakota is in terms of scenery. And actually, for much of the Midwest, I'll say, in terms of scenery, because I see a lot of scenery as a truck driver. I've seen landscapes more than most human beings will in a lifetime. And yeah, a lot of Midwest looks the same. And North and South Dakota, I'm still not sure what the difference is, other than the name of the state. It's really the western half of the country that's unique. A girl in Texas says, go blue. Still not sure what you're referring to. I really don't know. Stan, U.S. citizen service in the Philippines. Just Google it. Yeah, I got to call them. I need to get a phone, man. I hope these people answer. Sometimes they don't answer. In fact, I got to get off here soon to start making calls. Anna's Life Channel. I like the way you talk with action's funny. Filipinos also, we don't understand. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Yeah, she says when we don't understand, we say, huh. Yeah. All true. Tim says, go Buckeyes. That's a reference. And now Matt DeYoung saying, go blue. I think these are references to sports. Is that what's going on here? We're talking about sports in Texas. We'll just turn this into like a chat room for humanity or something. And for Texas sports teams, I guess. That's what we're talking about. Oh, football. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Well, somehow we still have 17 people here. We got up to 22. And I guess that's good news, I think. Yeah, Half Greek says, I hope you find a simpler solution for your CDL and don't need to spend 30 hours on planes for a 10-minute exam. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm talking about. And that, yeah. Anybody, yeah. I got to put something in the community section, man. We're sending out an SOS to find a doctor who has a U.S. registry number certified to do DOT medical certificates that happens to be in the Philippines. And apparently, I think Steven told me they don't need to be notarized either. So, all right, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. It's been good. We did this for an hour and 20 minutes, covered some good material. Appreciate it all. Please continue commenting, sharing with your friends, and thank you to all the people that donate to the channel. That was really kind of you. For the people that have done, those super chats and those donations, it's very helpful. Really is. It always helps. And yeah, thanks to those guys, and thanks to everybody. And I try to treat all comments the same. I try to give them time and consideration. And thanks for all the good information and just all the kind words of support. And even thanks to a few of the trolls out there, which there's much less than I had actually thought. YouTube is actually more civilized people than I would have imagined. I really didn't imagine. I thought there would be a lot of more nuts out there writing weird, ridiculous things, but surprisingly, there's not. So, yeah, thanks to all the subscribers, and keep subscribing and sharing, and let's try to get this up to 5,000 subs and then 10,000. Let's try to get some exponential growth going. And we'll try to stay true to the message of these channels. And yeah, we'll try to keep it going. We will keep it going. We just need the people out there to support us with good morale and good vibes, good camaraderie and team energy. It's what we need. It's absolutely what we need. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. And good night to all you. Have a great day, they're saying. Later. Thanks for the information, Captain. Very informative chat. You're welcome. Thank you all so much. And we'll continue this soon. We will. We will. All right. Thank you all so much. You all have a good day. Stay good out there. God bless. Bye-bye.